Censorship is something we've all seen at work in some form. Now online, some governments have made it their mission to block parts of the internet or spy on users and punish them for what they do on the web. But just as there are tools to invade privacy, there are also tools to get around it. VOA's Doug Bernard helped create a guide on circumventing censorship. You can find it on voanews.com. Take a look.
A lot of governments around the world don't necessarily want us getting our material to their citizens. So VOA and some of its parent organization has been working on these issues for a long time. And it just struck us that what could perhaps be of some use to people is a primer, basically a bit of a guide as to how to use some of these tools and to get to where you want to go online and keep yourself relatively private.
When you say, VOA has issues getting information to people, which countries are the most difficult?
Well, China far and away has the world's most sophisticated and most pervasive web filtering and monitoring apparatus. They spend many millions of dollars, maybe more, trying to keep their people from getting to the places they want to go, and also limiting what they have access to. But they're not alone. There's Russia, Iran certainly is an offender. There are a number of governments, and interestingly, sometimes these governments aren't chronic offenders, but they tend to really kind of tighten down control of the internet during times of unrest. We saw this in Egypt, we've seen it in Syria, so a lot of these things can kind of come and go.
So what can people do to get around this?
Well, there's a number of things, and that's really why we put this primer together. And there are really two aspects, I think, that we're looking at. One is helping people circumvent all that censorship that's out there. But something else I think that's really critical, and certainly we've seen this, people are thinking about it more, I think, in the wake of the Sony hack, allegedly committed by North Korea, although we still don't know, is privacy. How to keep themselves private or even perhaps anonymous, so governments, corporations, other people can't be spying on what they're saying or who they're saying it with.
Now, under the two categories, both protecting privacy and getting around censorship, what would you advise someone who's watching this segment right now that are the top things they need to be doing? I
like to, and other people like to call it, good web hygiene. Don't use passwords like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Change your password often, and don't use the same password device to device. Don't use free Wi-Fi, for example. That's just an invitation for people to come on into your mobile device and just have access to anything that they want. If you really want to keep yourself relatively anonymous so that governments aren't monitoring your web communication, you want a tool perhaps like Tor. Tor is a device that is a tool, an application, that you use that anonymizes and encodes your information. So if I'm sending you an email and I'm using Tor, it's all basically kind of kept anonymous.
You demonstrate all these concepts with a lot of graphics.
Right.
So how are you using those graphics, and what do you hope they accomplish?
Well, this project, I really do need to emphasize, is a team effort. You and I just happened to be talking, but there really was a team that went into putting this together. And we all agreed early on that it was very important to try and communicate very technical information, but in a way that's easy to understand and easy to grasp. So visually, we thought there has to be some kind of graphic component.
So you mentioned so many things changing all the time.
Constantly.
How do you stay on top of everything?
Well, again, the team really has to always be monitoring. There's always going to be new tools. This really is something of a race. Governments and others are always looking for new ways to keep people penned in, to wall off parts of the internet, and to also monitor what people are doing. But at the same time, there are other people who are always working on new tools to help combat that. So it's really important for individuals to take responsibility, in effect, to really kind of arm themselves and protect themselves and be very wary of what's going on out there.